Alrighty, 6th grade mathematicians. Here we are taking a look at Chapter 9, Lesson 6. So we are going to be looking at area of composite figures. So go ahead and get your book open to page 717 while I get set up here. There we go. Alright, oh, maybe. Well, maybe not. There we go. Okay. It's been that kind of day already. Alright, so let's take a look. What is a composite figure? Basically, what we're going to be doing in Lesson 6 is we are going to be taking all of our formulas that we have worked on throughout Lessons 1 through 5, and we're combining them together because a composite figure, if you take a look here, it says a composite figure is made up of two or more two-dimensional shapes. So taking a look at this right here, maybe this is how your house might be situated. Notice there's this dotted line right here. We can break this up into two rectangles to figure out the area of that composite figure. Okay, so it's no different than taking a look at this. Here we can see that we could break this swimming pool up into a rectangular composite figure, and we can also break it up right in here in this little section into a trapezoid. So keep that in mind as we are working through these problems, as we are going to be using multiple formulas for each composite figure because it might be made up of different figures. So let's flip over to the next page. So let's talk about this. It says find the area of the composite figure. You can decompose some trapezoids into a square and a triangle to find the area. So taking a look at this, oops, not sure what's happening. Well, let me click that out. There we go. Okay, you can see that this trapezoid right here, we can break it down into a square, and we can also break it down into, and I'm going to use a different color, we can break it down into a triangle to figure out the area of this trapezoid, say if we didn't know what the area of a trapezoid was. So we could do our length times our width, which is 3 and 3, because 1, 2, 3, that gives me an area of 9. You notice that the base here is 2 and the height is 3, so 1/2 of 6, or 1/2 of 6 is 3, so the area of this would be 3. So the total altogether would be 12 square units. Okay, that's if we wanted to break it down. Now let's take a look at where this actually might be, where we would need to break down and talk about different areas of composite figures. So taking a look at number 1, at this example. So take a look at this example right here. When I look at this example, I see that I can draw a line right here, and now I have created a rectangle right here, okay, and I've created a triangle right here. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to bring down my formulas for area of a rectangle and area of a triangle, and I'm going to fill in my numbers to try to solve the area of this entire composite figure. Okay, so if we were to do that down here, let's take a look. I'm going to use two different colors to decide our two different composite figure, and we're going to break it down. So this first one, I'm going to actually do this rectangle. Do you agree? So the area of a rectangle. So we know that the area of the rectangle is length times width. Okay? So let's figure that part out first. So here's my length. So A equals 12 times my width, which is 4. So A equals, when I do 12 times 4, I get 48. So in here, I get 48 feet squared. I'm not going to write feet squared in there, but I'm going to write feet squared at the back end so that I know that I'm talking area. Okay. Now, with a different color, and you can do like light or darker, or you can use two different color pencils, I'm going to focus on this right here, this triangle. So now, I'm going to know that area of a triangle, again, is 1/2 base times height, or I'm going to take my base times height and divide it by 2. So I'm going to actually do that one today. So I'm going to do base times height divided by 2, which is kind of usually what I use anyways. So when I look at this base, okay, I notice that this whole side right here, from here to here, is 8. Well, how can I figure out the base of this? I see that the whole length of this rectangle is 12. So if from here to here gives me 8, then I know what is left over here has to be 4. So I know that I'm going to go ahead and write area equals, and my base is 4 times, take a look at my height. Now notice that I have all of 10 here. Okay, so this whole thing is labeled as 10, but right here from here to here is 4. So what does that have to be to make 10 altogether? Well, that has to be 6. So now I can solve my problem. I figured out my base and my height, and my base and my height is 24. Okay, well, when I multiply together, 24, and then when I divide that by 2, oops, my goodness. When I divide that by 2, so my area is going to be 24 divided by 2, and when I get 24 divided by 2, I get 12 feet squared. Now, am I finished? No. I have to take the area of my rectangle and the area of my triangle and put them together. And so when I add 48 plus my 12, I'm going to get 60 feet squared. I'm going to get 60 feet squared. Okay? Now let's take a look at this next composite figure. I'm going to kind of work over here. Let's see. When I look at this, I see that if I go right here, I can make a trapezoid and I can make a rectangle or a square. It looks more like it's going to come out as a square. So let's do area equals length times width. Okay? And area equals, I'm doing my square first. It looks like I have 7 times 7, so area equals 49. So my area for that square is 49. Now we're going to do the trapezoid. Now remember that the trapezoid, and I'm going to kind of go like this so I can change my colors here just so I can see it in blue. Okay, now my area and my formula for trapezoid is 1/2 height. I'm going to scoot over just a little bit more, and then times my base 1 plus my base 2. All right, so area equals 1/2. Let's figure out the height. So remember, the height has to go along the side. So here I have this whole thing is 10, okay? But I notice that I use 7 of it from here, which means what has to be this space in order for it to all be 10 is 3. So my height is going to be 3. And then my base 1 is labeled for me, which is 5, plus my base 2, which is the same length as this one, which is 7. So now let's go in and solve some more. Area equals 1/2 times 3, and then 5 plus 7 is 12. And now I have area equals 1/2, and I do 3 times 12, which is 36. And when I take my calculator and I take 1/2 times 36, or really 36 divided by 2, it's going to give me 18. So here I have 18. So now I'm going to take my area of 49 plus 18, which is going to give me 67 meters squared. Okay, now let's take a look at this next page. So it's just a lot of work and a lot of formulas that you have to remember. Okay, and you just have to do them step by step and piece by piece. All right, so taking a look at this problem. When I take a look at this problem, we're going to go ahead and do C. We're going to see that we're going to actually kind of have a lot to do here, okay? Because I see right here is one trapezoid. So let's go ahead and do that one trapezoid. Okay, so we're going to figure out the area of that trapezoid. So I know that the area equals 1/2, oops, not 1/2 base, sorry, 1/2 height base times base 1 and base 2. So area equals 1/2. What's my height? My height is right here. Oh, it actually has it labeled for us, which is 10, so that's nice. My base 1 is 14, plus my base 2 is labeled for us with 20. So now I'm going to add 14 plus 20, and I get 34. And then I have 10, 1/2, and I'm just filling everything in. So now I'm going to take my 10 times 34, which is 340, and I'm going to divide that by 2 or multiply it by 1/2, and that gives me an area of 170. So here I see that this area right here is 170. Okay, so far so good. Now let's do an easy one. Let's do this right here. Because it looks like, I was like, I did change my colors. Okay, so now let's take a look at this. It looks like it is just a rectangle, so length times width. So area equals my length, which is 20, times my width, which is 20. And so my area of that is 400. So here I can just write in 400. So far so good. The next one, the next part that we're going to do is we are going to take a look at, let me flip colors here. We're going to take a look at this trapezoid right here. So again, now we have another trapezoid. Oops, so I'm going to scoot over just a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and do area equal, oh my goodness, what is going on? Here we go. Let's try that again. It's kind of being fun today, isn't it? Okay. The next thing that we're going to do, again, right here, is we're going to do area equals 1/2 height, base 1 plus base 2. So area equals 1/2, and what's my height on this? Well, let's see. This whole thing is 36. Here is 10. We knew that this was 20, so that would make this height of 6. Okay, so you see that I have 10. You see that I use this 20 for this 20 here, so there's 10, there's 20, and I need it to be 36, so there's 30 plus 6, so I know that the height is 6. My base 1 is 14, plus my base 2, which is 20 on the other side. So now I'm going to get area equals 1/2 times 6 times 34. And so I did not do the math on 30, I just divided. So 34 times 6 is 204, so area equals 1/2 times 204. So when I get 1/2 of 204, I get 102, which makes this area 102. So now I need to add and find the total. So I'm going to add all three of these areas together, which gives me 170 plus 400 plus 102 gives me a grand total area of 672 feet squared. And we're going to stop there for part 1. We're going to do part 2. We're going to talk about overlapping, and then we're going to be doing some more practice because it's just a lot altogether, but nothing that we cannot handle. So we will stop here for part 1 and then jump into the part 2 video.